Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sah Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om, everybody. So first come, I think so last class, I did a small error. And this was at the fag end of the class when I was talking about Vali and Sugriva and Rama hiding behind the tree and shooting Vali. By mistake, I said Rama shot Sugriv and Sugriv died. So it's wrong, okay? So one thing is I made the mistake. Nobody corrected me. I think so because you already knew the answer, but out of respect, you did not do that. So appreciate it. It is Vali who had this power of whenever he is facing an opponent, 50% of the opponent's power comes to Vali. And that's why he represents an ego which goes beyond or before sense objects, its favorite sense object. And as soon as the sense object comes before that individual, 50% of the strength is taken away from that person, the sense object takes away. So that's represented by Vali. Therefore, to kill Vali, Rama had to hide behind the tree and shoot. Similarly, to destroy a weakness of any sense object, we need to just withdraw a little bit, replace that weakness with the right knowledge of what happens if you consume that particular sense object, and then move on in life. That's the whole idea. So I apologize for that. Happy Dasera, happy Navratri to everybody. Navratri just happened 9 days, so just little bit of symbolism about that, and then we'll start with our classes. The Navratri 9 nights are celebrated. The first 3 nights is represented by Durga Puja. The second 3, that is 4, 5, 6 days, is represented by Lakshmi Puja, and the last 3 days is represented by Saraswati Puja. So Durga Puja, because Durga Mata was the one who killed Mahisasura. So Mahisasura represents, he's a demon, and he came in the form of a buffalo to kill Durga Mata. So Durga Mata was on the lion, so she killed Mahisasura, who is the buffalo. So the wild buffalo in this particular story represents tamasic aspect of life, the wrong ways, the lower aspects of life. And Durga Mata represents the higher values, higher stature of life. So Durga Mata killing Mahisasura represents the victory of the higher against the lower within me itself. So this is Durga Mata. First 3 days, that represents Durga Mata's victory over Mahisasura, represents within me itself. There are various qualities which pull me down towards my lower natures, as well as there are higher qualities, higher sense of values in me, which tries to reclaim its lost ground. So when Durga Mata's higher killing Mahisasura represents my higher values, destroying or sublimating the lower values. So all the negatives, negative thinking, jealousy, greed, arrogance, envy, all these negative attributes of my life, jealousy, greed, and all these things are superseded and destroyed. So as soon as that thought comes negative against somebody, put it down. We always say, Whenever you have a negative thought against anybody, replace it with two positive thoughts. As soon as you do that, the mind is trained not to think negative about anybody. Remember, perceiving a negativity is different from indulging in negative thoughts. When you perceive a negative tendency, then you are also looking out for a solution of how to deal with it. It's a different matter. But when you are indulging in negative thoughts, then you are not looking out for solutions. You are just indulging. It's a mental indulgence. So Durga Mata's 3 days represents all the negatives in my systems disappear. The subsequent 3 days is Lakshmi Puja. That is Lakshmi goddesses is favorite of everybody. Every shopkeeper in India will have a Lakshmi photograph. Lakshmi represents wealth. Lakshmi represents wealth. When we use the term wealth, we think it is money, it is assets. It is not only that. In fact, it is not that at all. The god of wealth, god of money is Kubera in the Shastras. And Kubera is an Asura, indicating that wealth can be calamitous. Where wealth accumulates, men decay. It can be calamitous. Lakshmi is goddess of wealth. This wealth is a wealth of good values, good things churning up, positivity in life. Every time to see things in a very positive way throughout life. In us, we have this tendency to see every perception in two ways. Either we see negative, or we can turn that negative and see positive. Our whole life is that. Rather than seeing negative, think positive, move on towards that. As soon as your perception changes, your world changes. When your perception is negative, you are complaining. When your perception is positive, your outlook goes and says, what can I do for you? I gave this example. In the metro, there was this one person sitting and reading a newspaper, and two children, he had two children, and both these two children were running around and creating a ruckus in that train. So everybody is just throwing the magazines away and all, they're creating a mess there. And this man who was a father, he was just looking outside the window as if he's staring into nothing. So these children came and threw this man's newspaper also away. He got so angry. He looked at that man and said, can't you manage your own children? If you can't manage it, why are you bringing them to earth? Look at them. They are just making a mess of everything. Can't you just control them a little? He became angry. And the other man looked at the man and said, I'm so sorry. I apologize. I was not paying attention to them at all. You see, sir, we are coming from a hospital where I just found out that my wife is dead. And they have also lost their mother. So I really don't know what to do now from now on. And perhaps they also don't know how to deal with this situation. But I really apologize. As soon as he said that, the other man, rather than getting angry of why can't you bring your children up properly, his next statement thought was, what can I do for him? Can I be of help in any way? As soon as your perception changes, things change. This is Goddess Lakshmi. Conviction in positive values of life and removing the conviction of the wrong values that Durga Mata already did. So when you reach a state of Lakshmi, your mind is absolutely peaceful. You are not judgmental about anything or anybody going on around you. There is no he did this, she did this. It's a very low kind of a mental thinking where the thought indulges on individuals. Great minds don't think like that. So Lakshmi is where now you have got the wealth of all the good character in your life. Mind has become completely calm. And when mind has become completely calm, intellect is available to ask the real questions of life. And that's where the next 3 days, Saraswati Puja comes. You are starting thinking about knowledge. What for am I born? What is the purpose of my life? Is there a purpose of my life? And if there is a purpose of my life, what is it? Who am I? So all these great Mahatmas of the year of all these different generations, from 217 AD to 720 AD to whatever till now, all the great masters have said the same thing, that you are nothing but the self. I have trapped myself. This supreme self has trapped or hypnotized itself to think that it is this limitable personality which has got destruction as well as birth, as well as growth, as well as disease and decay. But it is the infinite reality and nothing else. So all of these great Mahatmas speaking during different time in different countries and different eras, how come all of them said the same thing? So you start thinking, perhaps, I don't know, there may be some truth in it. And all they say is get detached from the lower. So when you start doing the puja of Saraswati, that means the book's knowledge, this knowledge dawns that who you are. And as soon as you understand who you are, the lower personality is destroyed. Now I am no more thinking about I am an individual born in so and so date. Someday I will die in so and so date. It really doesn't matter. Thought of the lower is gone. The worldly thoughts have disappeared. Don't get me wrong when we say disappear. Disappear means it is of no significance anymore. This happened. Tata came. That happened. Tata came. So what? If this happened, so what? If that happened, so what? It keeps on happening every 15 years, 100 years, something or the other keeps on coming. Big deal. So what? You find your life. You are sent, or we are sent only for this one reason, to find out who we are. Once we understand this, then this ego and the egocentric desires get destroyed. And that is the celebration of Dasera. Dasera is we take a Ravan Putla with 10 heads, 5 sense organs of perceptions, eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and skin. And when these perceptions are sent back into the world as actions, 5 sense organs of actions, hands, legs, mouth, reproductive organs, and anus. These represent my physical personality. These represent my ego. This represents my foolish mind. This represents my phonetic intellect. All these personalities is my limitable self. And that limitable self is burnt with the fire of knowledge. Therefore, they show Rama throwing a bow and arrow. So he shoots an arrow toward that with fire, flame. With the fire of knowledge, this ego and egocentric desires are completely burnt away, and one realizes his supreme self. Dasera is over. Don't get into who was greater, Rama or Ravana. Many people say Ravana was a great Pandit. He was not supposed to die, but there was a great political problem there. Therefore, according to politics, don't get into. Ravana is inside me. Rama is inside me. Arjuna is inside me. Krishna is my intellect inside me. Kauravas are the negative thoughts inside me. Pandavas are the positive thoughts inside. Everything is a war within. And all the Shastras, whether it is Ramayana or Mahabharata or Bhagavad Gita or Paradise Regained or Paradise, whatever it is only hinting at self-evolution. Once you have understood this, you have understood you are the Supreme Self. And then it's Vijaya Dashami. 10-headed monster is killed, and now you have understood you are the illimitable self. I have realized all my foolishness of associating myself with world and its worldly relationships, understanding that all of them are temporary nature. Therefore, though with them, I am never with them. This understanding dawns. Then that person has reached the supreme self, self-realized state. Any festival Please celebrate. We never tell nobody not to celebrate, but find out what the festival or religion means. And it should be within you. It should not be outside. So don't start like our teacher speaks so beautifully, he talks about the same thing. Even before a human being realizes he is a human being, I am only already demarcated by the society as I am a Hindu, others are non-Hindu. I am a Muslim, others are non-Muslim. I am a Christian, others are non-Christian. And the whole life I spend in fighting the other so-called other forces, either converting them or killing them or doing something. Not a single person focuses understanding that within me are these two natures and I need to fight the lower nature to be established in the higher nature of life. That's the idea. So this is Vijayadashmi. Once you reach this state, such a realized person, what does he do? Doesn't do anything. No, that's what we are doing. Dukkheshvanu dvignamanaha sukheshu vigataspruha vitaraga bhaya krodha stitadhir muni ruchyate. That person is called a muni who takes in sorrow, who is happy. He meets everybody. Yas sarvatrana bhisneha tat tat prapya shubhashubham. He meets the whole world, and out of all these meetings, whatever comes, shubh or ashubh, he meets. Na abhinandati, na dveshti. Neither he gets happy of what he meets, neither he gets dejected or disappointed whom he does not meet. Such a person reaches the highest. Then how does he function in the world? Running around in the local trains or planes or cars, how does this person function regularly? Yada samharate chayam, this is what we did last time. Kurmung, like a tortoise, he functions in the society. Slow and steady. He is not bothered about how the world is moving. Whenever danger comes, whenever a dangerous experience which he has perceived, others have not. The other people may not perceive this because the mind escapes it. So what? It's okay. A little bit. This is the way the mind gives an excuse. But a spiritual person understands, no, I don't want to get into that. Because as soon as you deviate yourself from what you are supposed to do, life changes. So he is very careful, he or she, when they are moving in the world, as soon as they perceive any danger, either difficult situation or difficult people, what they do, immediately they take all their faculties of the mind and the five appendages. So the mind and the five sense organs, and they bring it all, converge it under the hood of the intellect, the shell. And once it comes under the intellect, they stay. The world does not touch them after that. The world can't do anything with that. Even I told you last time, the lion and tiger also come and they can play with the tortoise, but they can't do anything. Eventually, when everything goes, they go ahead and slowly move. This is the way you have to live your life. Now, when this verse is given, usually there are a lot of questions. So, whole life, we are supposed to move out as soon as we see the danger. First of all, we have to perceive the danger. If you don't perceive the danger, you will not even know what's happened. One deviation is enough. Why not? One lady, one salesperson came to us long time back and said that you are teaching this, you may not be remunerated properly. So why don't you do this side business? It's an easy business. Do that, sell something, soap or dishwasher, and everything will be all right. You will earn something extra. Then we saw that there is a deviation. This is deviation. We don't need to do this. And we stuck to that. Every time the thought should be where this particular deviation is going to lead. The problem is it's like a rocket which is flying high. Initially, to the degrees, it has to be exactly correct, the positioning of the rocket to move off, to blast off. If there is 0.01% difference in the degree of where you want to go, as it goes up, the difference, the variance goes on increasing. Eventually, I become a personality of has been. I wanted to do this, but this happened. I wanted to become like this, but this happened. This is the deviance, divergence. Therefore, it should be straight. Don't deviate from it. Whenever, so first of all, perceiving the danger, and in this danger, stay. When the danger passes away, move on. Sir, if I am moving on so slowly, every time withdrawing my head and my senses, whenever danger comes, there are so many dangers everywhere. All my sense objects are there outside, which attracts me. Whether it is a TV, whether it is a newspaper, whether it is a mobile phone, whether it is an internet, whether it is a computer, whatever it is, whether it is alcohol, whether it is cigarettes, any kind of weakness of mine is right there outside. So how many times I'll keep on going inside? Don't worry, is the next verse. This is one of the beautiful verses. You have to understand this thoroughly. Vishaya vinivartante niraharasya dehinaha rasavarjam rasopyasya param drashtva nivartate. I like to sing, so I am singing this shlokas. Those who are not singing, it's all right, okay? Because if I just say Vishaya Vinivartante, if the rhythm is not there, I have trouble. So I'm singing that way. Vishaya Vinivartante, those sense objects, Vinivartante, turn away. They return back. Vishaya Vinivartante Niraharasya Dehina, from a person who is struggling and striving to do better. Vishaya vinivartante niraharasya dehinaha rasavarjam rasopyasya. But the rasa does not. The rasa does not go. Rasopyasya. Even that will go. Rasovarjam rasopyasya param drashtva nivartate. As soon as you have a glimpse of the higher. The sense objects turn away from an abstinent man, but not the relish. Even his relish turns away on seeing the Supreme. I have a weakness. The weakness is the alcohol bottle. Every evening, I need to consume it. I have a weakness for cigarette. I have a weakness for TV. Every time, that particular time, it calls me. One particular serial, at that time, it calls me. The alcohol also, it will not call everybody in the morning or afternoon. It has its time, sundown. When it is calling me, before that, sir, I am completely in control. But when I see it at that time, deadly. Don't worry. Put it under the intellect. What will happen? Those sense objects will disappear from your vision. Yeah, that can be done. When sense objects disappear from the vision means if there is a particular lane where a drinking bar is there or where sense indulgence is there, if I don't go there at all, naturally, I don't think about it. I move the other way. Now, I have left it. It's 1 week since I've smoked. It's 1 week since I've consumed alcohol. It's 1 week since I've had anything, any indulgences. I have moved away. But sir, taste is still there. You know, I saw this Mickey Mouse long time back. I used to see. I'm not seeing it now. I don't see it now. Long time back when I was a child, I used to see. So in Mickey Mouse, they showed Mickey is walking down, okay, and he has, I think so, this girlfriend Minnie, and she is in the 3rd floor, and she is cooking something. So they showed that she's cooking something. This fellow is walking, and from the food, smoke comes. And smoke, they have given the like fingers, So they are going there all the way to Mickey, and Mickey's nose, the smoke is touching, and drags it to second floor. This is rasa. I know the sense objects are not there anymore, but the taste doesn't go. The taste doesn't go. Sir, have you had pani puri? Pani puri? No, no, no. I don't have that time. Sometimes at home. Otherwise, no, we don't have it. So pani puri is very, very interesting. What that man does now. So he puts that puri like beautifully manicured nails, all clean, and he digs that puri, and then he beautiful water. He puts all clean water, mineral water. He uses mineral water. He puts it. He makes that chutney. He puts it. Then something, and by the time you're talking, you're salivating, and you're not even been there. You're thinking about it. You are thinking about something, mentally indulging and salivating. This is how majority of people live their lives. You are sitting here. A teacher used to sing this song every time in a class. You are sitting here, but where is your heart? You are sitting here. Where are you? It's gone. Some country, some state, it's moving on. Hardly anybody is in the present. So Vishaya Vinivartante, that sense object disappears. How? The rasa will go away. Don't worry. How the rasa will go? How will the taste go? Because taste is still there. I have left non-veg long time back. But sometimes, sir, like that Mickey Mouse, the smoke comes from somewhere and tugs at my nose. I have left alcohol long time back. But when I see somebody so-called social drinker, I look at them and says, what's wrong in having a little? What's wrong, sir? Nothing wrong. What's wrong in talking to that person? Nothing wrong in anything. Provided you are in control. Once you lose control, you are finished. Don't worry. That rasa will also go. How will the rasa go? How will the taste go? It will go param drashtva nivartate, when you see the higher. When you have a higher purpose in life, you don't worry about any of the weaknesses of the lower. Just as any dreamer who is living a dream of a dream wife, dream husband, dream children, dream suffering, dream job, dream non-job, dream recession, dream COVID, all these dream, everything is happening. All that dreamer has to do is to wake up. The higher. As soon as that person wakes up to the higher, all the lower problems of his dream, whatever weaknesses he had, whatever permanence he was seeking from that dream, disappears. One shot. You have to adhere to a higher goal in life. What are you living for? Remember, I am not asking who are you living for. Because as soon as we ask who are you living for, you'll give me 10,000 names of me and mine. My son, my daughter, my grandchild, you'll give me all that. What is your higher purpose in life? I don't have any purpose. Then life is purposeless. Then don't complain. But then there has to be an age for that. Doesn't age, at particular age, you have a dream. But after that, you exceed the age. It doesn't happen. I have a dream to be a runner. There are people who can run who have started. Day before yesterday, I was watching something in YouTube. You can start running at the age of 73 and 80. There are people who took up dancing at the age of 80. The only difference is what, like Kung Fu Panda, one of my favorite movies I keep on referring. Do you believe in your talent? And do you believe you will go all the way? Nature has put some talent in everybody. Are you doing justice to it? If you are doing justice to it, you are living a life. If you are not doing justice to that God given talent in you, you are wasting your life and you are not living. You are only existing like a vegetable. As soon as some problem comes, you cry. As soon as something goes off, you laugh. And that's how you will end your life. Focus higher, something to live by. This beautiful story of Tale of Two Cities by Charles Dickens, where this person, Sidney Carton, had a vice. He was an alcoholic and he's an advocate. He sees outside the window and he sees a beautiful girl, Elizabeth. He immediately looks at her and he falls in love with her. But then this Elizabeth goes away. After years, she gets married to a royal family from France, Charles Darnay, and they get settled somewhere in England. One of the service, so the rebellion starts there. And when the rebellion starts, all the problems in France, all the aristocrats are brought out and they are guillotined. Guillotined is a knife which falls and the head is rolled off. That's how they call. So they call all the aristocrats and they start guillotining it. They catch Charles Darnay's servant, who's a poor lady, but she served the royals. So they caught her and she was supposed to be beheaded. So Charles Darnay, who was staying in England, goes all the way there, France, to save her. He said, nothing will happen to me because I am not a royal anymore. I have come to England. He already has a child called Mary. I think so. Her name is Mary, 6 years old. And he's gone there. And those people, all the commoners, have taken Darnay and put him into prison to be executed. So Elizabeth comes before Sidney Carton, completely wasted person, but an advocate. And she says that, can you save my husband? And he sees the small girl. He says, okay, I'll try to do what I can. And he also goes to France with a big cap, the top hat till the forehead, overcoat. And he says, I'm an advocate and I want to meet Charles Darnay. He said, you do whatever you want, the person has to be killed. He said, let me talk first of all what's happening. He went there and he said to Darnay, why have you come here? He said, no, because that girl was trapped and I wanted to save her. At least I'm happy that she's safe. Now, even if I die in her place, it's all right. Sidney Carton looks. In 15 minutes, he says, all right, it's up to you. And he walks off. After he walks off, the jailers come to know that Sidney Carton had given his cap and coat to Charles Darnay. And Charles Darnay was the one who walked out. And Sidney Carton has taken his place to be executed after 2 days. And he's just standing there. Then they are taking in these horse carriages towards the guillotine. And when they are going towards the guillotine, they are seeing each and every time the blade falling and the head rolling over. There is this young girl who is standing by the side of Sidney Carton. She looks at Sidney Carton's eyes and says, we are going to be killed, but you are not frightened. He says, no. What did you do, sir, to deserve this? He says, I fell in love, but I'm standing for somebody else. Can you believe that a person saying, I'm standing for somebody else, that person is gone and is taken to the guillotine? And the last famous lines of Tale of Two Cities, it is a far, far better thing I do that I have ever done. It is a far, far better rest I go to than I have ever known. When your life focuses on a higher principle based on service and sacrifice, when you really believe in God, and when you really believe that God has given this personality for a purpose, not to waste this personality, then you are married to a cause. And once you are married to the cause, nothing goes wrong. You come out of all your problems, agitations, depressions, and weaknesses. One step at a time, every day. That's all. We'll continue next time. Thank you. Oh.